ipahayag ang mga guidelines na ipapatupad ng DOTr para sa napipintong pag-implement ng community quarantine at social distancing measures. Asahan po ninyo na yung mga guidelines na ito ay maaaring magdulot ng inconvenience sa ating mga mamamayan. Pero tandaan natin na ginagawa natin ito para labanan yung coronavirus. Para matigil ang pagkalat ng coronavirus, para na rin sa kapakanan ng nakararami. Ika nga. At nais ko pong ipahayag sa inyo ang mensahe ng ating Secretary Togadi mismo, sa kanya galing ito. And I quote, "We all have to bear the burden and sacrifices for the common good and our nation's interest. These protocols are temporary. The deeper we cooperate, the faster we shall overcome." Yan po ang gustong ipahayag ng ating butihing secretary. With that, I think we are ready to take questions.
Siguro lang, just for you to be able to, for us to able to lay the predicate for all this, what we came up for our guidelines for the management of the emerging infectious disease is broken onto two basic parts. The first one is the general guidelines, which are consistent with the IATF guidelines and protocols. After that, we put meat into these guidelines by having the sectoral implementing guidelines also. So if you will note if you have copies of the guidelines, there will be 4 main sectors: the road, aviation, maritime, and rail. Okay, but all of them are geared towards the general mandate of the IATF, which is to enforce social distancing during that period of the community quarantine. If you'd like, so that we can also help you formulate your questions, I will ask each of the sectors to discuss with you the mandates that they have, the protocols that they have implemented as far as their sector is concerned. Maybe we can start off with the road sector. Asag Galvante.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Under the road sector, we formulated some provisions that would help control the spread of the virus. And as stated a while ago, this might be a little, might cause discomfort, but however, we should be focused on the more primordial concern, that is to help stop spread the virus. For example, on the public utility vehicles, we are advising the operators and drivers to follow the enumerated points. For taxis, transportation network vehicle services of TNVS, including accredited airport taxis, there should not be more than 4 passengers, including driver, and they should be at least 1 seat apart, distance between the passengers. For UB Express, they should not be more than 6 passengers, including drivers, with again 1 seat apart. For all units of public utility jeepneys, should not be more than half of the regular capacity, including driver, and also 1 seat apart. For the omnibus franchising guidelines, compliant units or class 2 and class 3, they should not be more than half the seating capacity and without any standing passenger. For public utility buses, there should be not more than 25 passengers, including the driver and conductor, and again, one seat apart and without any passenger standing. Multiple bookings for a single trip provided by the Transport Network Vehicle Service and the pilot implementation of motorcycle taxi shall be suspended. All operators are also directed to inform, educate the drivers and conductors to be observant of their passengers during the travel. Should any of their passengers manifest any symptoms of the COVID-19, they shall assist said person to the nearest hospital and to report the incident to the Department of Health or the Philippine National Police for proper handling. All PUB drivers and conductors are also required to cooperate and observe DOH and PNP protocols or procedures. All terminal operators shall not allow any person to enter their terminal premises if said person manifests any of the symptoms for COVID-19, such as those with 38 degrees centigrade or higher body temperature, severe coughing or breathing difficulty. Provincial buses and inter-regional trips of jeepneys and UB Express and to and from Metro Manila shall be terminated on the entry points as identified by the Philippine National Police. For all PUBs entering and exiting Metro Manila, drivers and conductors shall remind all passengers to be ready to present valid company IDs showing their place of work and government-issued ID showing place of residence, pursuant to the Department of Interior Local Government or PNP procedures and protocols at all entries and exit points. All PUB drivers and conductors are also required to cooperate and strictly observe DOH and PNP protocols or procedures. For point-to-point, the buses from Ninoy Aquino International Airport to Clark International Airport and Sangli Airport, they shall be allowed to operate as scheduled subject to DOH and PNP protocols and procedures. The following measures first implemented following the DOH's confirmation of the first local COVID-19 case shall continue to be implemented. All PUB drivers and conductors to properly wear masks at all times while on duty. All public transport and terminal operators to ensure and maintain proper sanitation and cleanliness of the PUB fleets and their premises on a daily basis, and to provide disinfectants or sanitizers dispensers for free use of passengers. Posting of periodic announcements and precautionary measures or reminders in strategic locations that would help prevent transmission of the virus, and all PUB and terminal operators are encouraged to take the measures necessary to reduce the risk of transmission in public transportation. That's for the part of the road sector.
Maybe you can, we will just go through the four sectors and you can reserve your questions after. Okay, we will now have the rail sector.
Good afternoon. For the rail sector, number one, the trains shall be loaded at reduced capacity to reduce the concentration of passengers per train. Station personnel shall regulate the entry of passengers from station platform to trains. Passenger concentration in station platforms, concourses, and elevators shall be reduced. Station personnel shall regulate the entry of passengers into stations and shall implement measures for orderly and distance queuing both inside and outside stations. Number three, passengers exhibiting COVID-19 symptoms or that registers 38 degrees centigrade and above body temperature pursuant to DOH guidelines shall be refused entry to stations and trains. In such cases, the concerned station personnel shall observe the DOH guidelines on COVID-19 response procedures. The The women's and senior citizens section of train cars will be further separated, designating a subsection for senior citizens. PNR operations from Alabang to Calamba and vice versa shall be suspended during the period of community quarantine. The following measures, first implemented following the DOH confirmation of the first local COVID-19 case, shall continue to be implemented. That is 1, placement in strategic areas of alcohol-based hand sanitizers and ensuring the availability of hand wash soap in all toilets. Disinfection of train interiors and station premises, particularly frequently touched surfaces that are exposed to the public. Trains will be disinfected at least every loop, that is every time a train reaches its end stations. Wearing of appropriate face masks, especially for frontline station and security personnel. Non-contact thermometers will likewise be used to identify and control entry of passengers that will register heightened body temperatures. Station personnel shall observe COVID-19 response standard operating procedures in managing such passengers. The use of TV screens in stations and in trains were available to play materials from DOH, the do's and don'ts on how to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission, and print materials from DOH will likewise be posted in stations. Pending posting in strategic locations and periodic announcements of reminders for preventive actions that could help prevent transmission of the virus. And lastly, for rail operators are encouraged to take other measures necessary and desirable to prudently reduce the risk of transmission in our rail lines. Thank you.
We will now have the aviation sector presented by Deputy Director General Don Mendoza of CAAP.
Thank you, sir, and good afternoon. As directed, all domestic flights will cease operations within the community quarantine area except the following: cargo flights, air ambulance and medical supplies, government military flights, weather mitigation flights, and maintenance and utility flights. In short, there will be no general aviation flights within the community quarantine area during the period. General aviation flights, speaking non-scheduled flights, will be operated in Sangley and an option to operate in Clark. For the incoming international commercial flights, special airport-to-airport trips arranged by the airlines in coordination with the airport authorities shall be allowed. Passengers may opt to stay in Manila and arrange their own transport within Manila. Airlines to communicate options of travels beyond Manila. CAAP shall endeavor local airlines to operate sweeper flights out of Manila and into other airports. At least 1 meter distance from the other passengers shall be implemented. Areas where queuing take place, such as X-ray area, check-in counters, shall have signages for people to observe proper social distancing, and a video reminder of the same within the airport. And there will be suspension of access passes for visitors. Only passengers and essential personnel shall be allowed entry and exit to the airport terminals. Passengers, employees, and transacting public concentration in screening areas, check-in counters, immigration areas, concourses, elevators, escalators, and access pass control windows shall be regulated for orderly and distance queuing. Thank you.
The maritime sector will be discussed by PPA General Manager Jason Chaco.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Para po sa maritime sector, ito po yung mga guidelines na ipatutupad ng Philippine Ports Authority, ng Maritime Industry Authority at ng Philippine Coast Guard. Para sa mga pasahero at other maritime personnel, patuloy po nating palalawigin ang awareness at mga precautionary measures para mapigil ang pag-spread ng COVID-19 sa pamamagitan ng paglalagay ng mga signages, pamimigay ng flyers, ng mga pamphlets, at ang paggamit ng public address system sa mga pantalan at sa mga sasakyang pandagat. Sa mga pantalan po at sa mga sasakyang pandagat, atin pong ipatutupad ang pag-o-observe ng 1 meter social distancing measures sa mga pasahero at mga personnel sa mga pantalan. Mag-i-implement din po tayo ng passenger screening, segregation, and management in accordance with DOH procedures and other DOH-related guidelines. Ang mga tripulante po ng mga cargo vessel na manggagaling sa mga bansang ang mga pantalan ay naapektuhan ng COVID-19 na nabanggit na po sa mga IATF resolutions ay masasubject pa rin po sa quarantine procedure at hindi po sila hahayaang bumaba sa mga barko sa ating mga pantalan. Para sa mga sasakyang pandagat at mga kargamento, passenger traffic sa lahat ng pantalan, papasok at palabas ng National Capital Region ay suspended sa period ng community quarantine. Subalit, ang ferry services sa National Capital Region ay patuloy pong mag-ooperate subject sa observance ng 50% reduced capacity as prescribed by the Maritime Industry Authority. Ang mga barko po na normaling bumabiyahe sa National Capital Region ay iaalaw po na magdaong sa mga pantalan sa labas ng NCR. Ibig po sabihin nito, yung pong mga barko mula sa mga probinsya na normally dumadaong sa mga pantalan sa NCR, sila po ay papayagang dumaong sa mga pantalan na malapit sa NCR katulad po ng Batangas, ng Bataan, ng Subic, sa pamamagitan po ng provisional or special permit na i-issue ng Marina. Ang lahat po ng mga passenger terminals at mga sasakyang pandagat shall strictly observe hygienic measures as prescribed by the DOH. Sa mga kargamento naman po, papasok at palabas ng National Capital Region, hindi po hahadlangan ang labas-masok ng mga kargamento papasok at palabas ng National Capital Region. Ang lahat po ng mga cargo trucks or vans na papasok at palabas ng Port of Manila, kabilang po dyan ang South Harbor, Manila International Container Terminal, North Harbor at Manila Harbor Center, ay i-require po na kumuha ng cargo entry or withdrawal permit mula sa Philippine Ports Authority na siya po nilang ipipresenta sa mga checkpoint na ilalatag po ng Philippine National Police para sila po ay papasukin sa National Capital Region or hayaang makalabas sa National Capital Region. Yun naman pong waste reception services o yung pong pag-handle ng mga basura ng mga barko sa ating mga pantalan sa NCR ay masususpinde at ang mga barko pong foreign at mga domestic na barko ay uobligahing i-unload ang kanilang mga basura sa susunod na pantalan na kanilang dadaungan. Para sa mga controlled areas naman po, there will be a no-sail policy that will be implemented in all water conveyances carrying passengers calling to and from any ports of Metro Manila, except foreign ships subject to CIQS procedures and domestic cargo, fishing and government vessels, subject to health screening pursuant to DOH advisories and guidelines. Establishment of entry and exit controls in ports and other maritime areas and waters as identified by the Philippine Coast Guard. Salamat po.
Ngayon po, ang effectivity po nitong ating mga guidelines ay yung 30-day period po, mag-uumpisa po tayo bukas, ay mamayang hating gabi hanggang sa hating gabi ng April 14. Ito po mga policies at guidelines at protocols na sinabi namin sa inyo, it will be subject to review every day by the task group. If there is a necessity po na baguhin to or to adjust it para mapaayos po ang takbo ng mga transportasyon natin, we will do that as necessary. Having said that, we'll now open ourselves to
Good afternoon po, Jo Anano from UNTV. Question ko po sa rail sector, with regards po ito sa MRT. Sir, gusto ko lang pong malaman in detail, paano po natin i-implement itong reduced capacity? Ia-allow pa rin po ba natin ang tayuan po sa loob ng trains? Thank you.
Magandang hapon po. Yung tinatawag na reduced capacity natin, we will implement 1 meter social distancing din sa train saka sa station platform natin. At ang reduced capacity po ng train natin ay marireduce siya sa 25%. Yung dating kinakarga natin na 1,000 plus will be reduced to around 250 to 300 maximum a day. Meaning, malaki po ang convenience nito sa mga pasahero. Kaya ngayon pa lang ay humihingi na kami ng dispensa dahil bukod dun sa linya na kung saan sila ay pumipila hanggang sa platform, ay ililimit muna namin ang pasok ng kada pasahero at pati po pagsakay sa tren.
Sir, magkakaroon din po ng curfew po sa Metro Manila, which is 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Magkakaroon din po ba tayo ng adjustment sa ating pong operating hours?
Sa ngayon po, hindi pa namin nakikita magkakaroon ng adjustment considering na marami pong mga workers pa din ang sasakay between 8 to 10 p.m. So, exempted po kasi ang mga workers natin sa curfew. So, we are expecting also riders from that. Then, tama po, i-review natin yan everyday kung kailangan i-subject sa reduction.
Sir, last na po. Regarding naman po sa aviation, sir, I just wanted to clarify po, paano po kung halimbawa, meron pong flight coming from Australia and then lalapag po siya ng NAIA, tapos po, meron siyang connecting flight going sa, halimbawa, Tuguegarao po. Paano po yung magiging sistema po na?
The directive is no domestic flights out of Manila. So that's why we are open to the options of Clark. That's why, as I said, mayroon po tayong P2P buses that will carry passengers out of Manila and then will bring it to Clark. So we are also asking airlines if they can launch extra sections or extra flights out of Clark. Maluwag po ang Clark, napakalapad po. So definitely, makaka-accommodate pa sila ng mga extra flights.
Kung pwede lang po ako magdagdag doon sa sinabi nung dalawang nauna po sa akin, yung bus standing policy po ay hindi lang po para sa train, pati po sa mga bus natin, i-implement natin yun. Dahil puro sa tinatawag na social distancing. So for PUBs and also for trains, bawal na po yung tayuan. The number of passengers inside will be controlled. Ngayon naman po, nabanggit po ni DDG Don Mendoza, yung tungkol po sa Clark, that is one option. Isa pong option yung Clark. Ngayon po, the other option for us is Sangli Airport na operational na po. Ang limitation lang po ng Sangli Airport is turboprop. So, turboprop flights can be operated out of Sangli. Salamat po.
Monty po from TV5. Sir, yung na-mention nga po yung, for example, yung sa mga bus po na nakatayo, paano po kaya natin ma-check, sir, yun na sinusunod po yun ng mga bus driver and operator? Like for example po ngayon, kung magkakaroon nga po ng curfew, syempre, may mga workers pa rin po, magmamadali sila. So, pipilitin po ba nila, yung iba po magpupumilit na sumakay sa bus just to get home? Paano po kaya po natin masisiguro na hindi po magsisiksikan yung mga pasahero?
Ang enforcement po ng lahat ng protocols na relative po dito sa COVID-19 po ay ipatutupad po ng PNP. So ang PNP po, we are coordinating with them. They will have several teams around the Metro Manila to enforce these protocols. Tapos po, ang dapat po natin tandaan, itong mga bus punto, may prangkisa po ito sa LTFRB. So regulated po sila ng LTFRB. If they do not cooperate, the LTFRB can give sanctions against these bus operators.
Good afternoon po. I'm Paolo Barcelon po from CNN Philippines. Sir, you mentioned in this copy of the guidelines na provincial buses and interregional trips of jeepneys and UV Express shall be terminated on entry points identified by PNP. Do we have contingency measures to ferry yung mga may iwan po dun sa entry points so that they could enter Metro Manila? And how are these passengers going to be inspected? Because possible po na mag-cause ng traffic jams yan, especially dun sa mga major thoroughfares po natin.
Yes sir, meron po tayo niyan. Actually po, nag-meeting na bago this press conference, nag-meeting na po ang ating road sector together with the HPG at saka yung mga operators po ng mga toll roads natin to determine kung saang areas po ilalagay yung mga checkpoints na to make sure that there's ample space to accommodate these people. At isa pa po ay they have made arrangements na yung pong mga city buses or city public utilities naman will also be meeting them at these points to ferry them inside the NCR.
So parang merong terminal quote-unquote for
Parang
lack of
ganun
a
po.
better
Pero
term.
ang effect po nun is yung mga checkpoint po ito. Also to control the movement of people mula sa labas ng NCR papasok at ganun din po yung palabas.
Okay. Sir, on the matter of aviation, with regards to international flights, so yung international flights, ano pong klaseng, do you have info on which special airport-to-airport trips are arranged now with the airlines? Meron na po ba tayong info dyan? What are airlines saying to you as of the moment? What coordination do we have with them?
Wala pa po tayong koordinasyon sa kanila. Although we had an informal meeting kanina with some of the airlines, so we are opening them the option of arranging it by themselves or in coordination rather with the Manila authority, or rather the airport authority.
Okay.
Just to add sir, no, yung mga P2P natin from the airports papalabas, ito po yung strictest sense of the P2P. Pag sakay po nila sa NAIA, wala na pong titigilan to, wala in any point in Metro Manila or NCR. Ang susunod po na baba ng pasahero nito either sa Sangli or sa Clark na po.
Okay. You mentioned, sir, P2P. Other P2P routes or routes, are these affected also? Let's say Alabang to Greenbelt or yung mga intercity P2P? Will their operations continue as well?
Sir, we have to differentiate kung ang area po ay nasa loob ng NCR or sa labas. Pag nasa loob po ng NCR, tuloy lang po ang transportation natin. Wala pong mababago. Subject only to the social distancing protocols.
Okay.
Ang mababago lang po, ang maapektuhan po ay yung mga provincial natin na papasok sa Metro Manila. Hindi po sila papayagan pumasok sa NCR at the control point. They will have to transfer to a city conveyance.
All right, sir. Thank you.
And if I may add, sir, yung P2P dito sa airport, pasahero lang po ito nang galing sa aeroplano. Wala na ho iba silang kasama. Puro lang ho pasahero ng aeroplano.
Sir, Julie Cabrera Serra po sa GMADCWB. Sir, tanong ko lang po yung mga pasahero po ng bus, like, sabi niyo po mga workers lang po sa Metro Manila yung papayagan pumasok. Pero paano po pag may nagpumilit na pumasok, papababain niyo po ba ng bus? Ano po, saan po sila dadalhin?
I think po, nasagot po yan ni Secretary Anyo sa isang naunang press ko nila po. If you will note, ma'am, ang magmaman po, ang tatao sa ating mga checkpoint ay ang PNP. Sila po ang in charge ng enforcement. Pag meron po hindi nag-cooperate, una pakikiusapan sila. Pag hindi ho talaga sila nag-cooperate, aarestuhin po sila. Yun po ang sabi ni Secretary Anyo.
Thank you po, sir.
Hi sir, good afternoon. Michael Deliso po sa DZMM. Sir, nung mga nakarang araw, marami na yung mga kababayan natin po na dito sa Metro Manila na umuwi po sa mga probinsya bago abutan ng community quarantine. May plano po ba ang DOTr kung halimbawa ako po ay taga-probinsya at wala po akong tirahan dito sa Metro Manila at abutan ako mamaya ng community quarantine, so makukulong na lang po ba ako dito sa Metro Manila nang wala akong tirahan? Ano kaya yung tugon dito ng gobyerno natin?
Kung mapapansin nyo, sir, yung effectivity ng ating community quarantine was announced last Wednesday by the President at ang effectivity po is bukas pa po. May ilang araw binigay po para sa tao nga para wag sila pong maipit o wag mabigla rito. As far as the Department of Transportation is concerned, sir, hindi po namin saklaw yun. Ang saklaw lang namin po yung pamamalakad po ng transportasyon at yung protocols dito sa loob ng NCR.
Alright, I understand, sir. Same with the persons po na yung halimbawa po sa NAIA kanina, ang dami ng mga taong na-cancel yung flights nila for today, sir. Ibig sabihin, although may ticket sila para ngayong araw, pero na-cancel yung flight nila, ito yung last chance nila para makauwi ng probinsya at mai-stranded na lang sila dito sa Metro Manila. Meron po bang plano doon, sir?
Yes, sir. As I said, open po ang Clark, so we are coordinating with the airlines na magdagdag po ng flights out of Clark. Kasi pwede na, isa-shuttle naman natin yung pasahero papuntang Clark eh.
Alright.
Ang lockdown, kundi yung quarantine area is only Metro Manila. So they're free to get to Clark and then wait for some reminders or advisories from the airlines.
Sir, last question ko po. Gaano po kaya magiging kahigpit yung authorities natin sa pag-i-implement nitong mga guidelines na ibinigay po ninyo? Parang ang challenging po kasi nung anong mga mangyayaring para sa mga authorities, no? Ang daming protocols. Gaano po kaya ano yung mandato natin sa kanila? Gaano magiging kahigpit po yung pagpapatupad nito?
Sir, kung sa tanong mo kung gaano kami kaseryoso, sir, seryoso po kami. Hindi po biro itong COVID-19 na to. Malaki po talagang threat sa buhay ng tao to. Kaya yung mga ginawa po namin protocols, talaga pong paninindigan namin na ipatupad po ito sa lahat. Katulad mo nang nasabi kanina, katulong namin sa enforcement po ang PFP. Ang presidente po ay also sinama na po sa enforcement ang AFP. So katuwang po namin itong mga uniform service natin na tinatawag para i-enforce to. Bukod po rito, ang DOTr may yung tinatawag na ayak na isasama rin namin sa pag-enforce. At saka sir, nandun pa rin po yung mga enforcers natin ng LTO and LTFR.
Good afternoon, sir. Mike Guyagui from DZXL. Kay Asik Galvante, sir, paano natin mababantayan yung ilang mga drivers natin, PUV drivers? Dahil ngayon pa lamang may mga reports na ginagawang dahilan yung pag-iral na itong community quarantine upang sa hindi sila makapunta, makapaghatid ng mga pasahero at nakikipagkontrata ng mataas na singil dahil lamang dito sa COVID-19. Ano po ang pagtiyak natin na ito'y mababantayan yung ganitong gawain?
Again, nakadeploy ang ating enforcers at katulong dito ang PNP na deputized. At kung sa pamantayan naman ang tungkol sa prangkisa at tungkol sa restriction sa lisensya, sa rehistro, ipatutupad din natin to. In fact, whether there is quarantine or not, no? Kaya kung sila'y makikipagsapalaran ng ganon, mawalang galang na, maaring they would suffer further inconvenience sa kanilang yung pag-enjoy ng pribilehyo. Halimbawa, katulad nitong lumabas na yung listahan ng mga ang dami-dami pala nilang violation at binabaliwala nila. In-evaluate yan ng LTO at in fact nagpatupad na ng pagsuspindi ng mga lisensya. Kung saan, kung nakitang meron kang meron kang 3 o higit pa within the year ng same violation, suspended ng 3 months yung lisensya. Ngayon, kung more than that ang violation, evaluatin pa ito kung ano pang maidadagdag. But of course, hindi ito dahil gustong magpahirap, kundi sinusunod lang natin ang pamantayan ng ating batas para naman magkaroon tayo ng disiplina sa daan.